Hello everyone and welcome back to another Figurehead Reviews video, and today we are taking a look at the Marvel Legends Gwen Stacy as she appeared in the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse movie and part of the Stilt-Man Build-A-Figure wave. Here we see Gwen displayed in the front window with her various accessories and SpiderHam, and then down at the bottom we see the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse logo and her name. On the box's right-hand side we are going to see an image of SpiderHam there with his hands on his hip. And then on the left-hand side, we're going to get an image of Gwen Stacy. And then on the back, the Gwen artwork is going to be expanded upon, but we do see SpiderHam swinging in the background there down near the bottom. And then we are going to have a quick read-up. Intelligent and quick-witted, Gwen has a sharp sense of humor and is a natural leader. And then we're going to have all the other figures needed in this wave to complete the Stilt-Man Build-A-Figure. And at the bottom, we have the UPC code, so you can check with your local retailer to see if they have this in stock. But enough about that. Let's get this open and take a look at Gwen Stacy and SpiderHam. And here is Gwen and SpiderHam outside of their packaging. And unlike Miles and the Peter B. Parker figure, this one doesn't get a big overhaul compared to some of the other Gwen figures that we've gotten. From what I can tell, it looks like just the lower legs there, below the calf, is going to be the only parts that are truly new. The hood might be different. I didn't really look that close, but the ankle straps are going to be sculpted in, as well as the shoes being sculpted in, whereas on the previous releases they were just painted on. So for the most part, this is a figure that we've gotten before, albeit with just an updated paint scheme to kind of match the more stylized approach that they took with the movie. But that's not to say that it's a bad figure. I actually really like the brighter pink. It really just kind of pops that much more on the figure, so I think that is really cool. But once again, I don't know if this wave used a different type of plastic. Just like Miles, just like Peter, got some stiff joints with this particular one, so I had to do some heating up again on some of the parts just to be able to do things like bend the elbows without feeling like I was going to break it, and I did have to heat up the head in order to get it off because I felt like I was going to end up twisting off the ball pin there for the head joint as well. So little disappointed there that so far this wave seems like it's just been a very stiff and difficult to pose wave of figures. Now, Gwen does come with a few accessories, starting first with a pair of fisted hands, and she also comes with a pair of thwipping hands. And then you are going to get the two hood options here for the various head sculpts. Actually, you can't really use the hood up option with her unmasked head, but you do have the hood down that goes around her neck, and then if you want to use the hood up on the masked one, you can do that, but of course you can also have it hood down. And then you do get the Build-A-Figure piece for Stilt-Man, which basically is just his upper and lower torso. Now, in standing straight up, Gwen is coming in at 5 7/8 inches tall, which makes her about 14.9 centimeters, so she is just a little bit taller than Miles, not very much taller, but just a hair. And SpiderHam is already posed standing straight up, which has him coming in at 2.5 inches tall, which makes him about 3.8 centimeters. And since she does not come with any other accessories, we're going to go ahead and just jump in here and get a closer look on Gwen and SpiderHam. And getting up close, starting first with the unmasked head, and Hasbro finally did a very good job here with this one. Much better true to the character that we saw in the movie versus the previous release, which had the standard classic Gwen Stacy head sculpt, which definitely did not fit at all. So we get the appropriate hairstyle here, and it's done really well. We can see the shaved sides there in the back, and then obviously they have this piece glued on the top, but it came out looking really good. Decent sculpting. I really like that a lot. And then looking at the paint here on the face, that came out really good as well. You can even see her eyebrow piercing there underneath that little bit of hair there coming down. And just overall, not bad. Yeah, I really do like that, and it does capture that style from the movie. Now, the heads I mentioned, or at least this head, was very tough to get off, and you can even see where it's a little bit of a gap there that I think I may have caused some problems. You can see how loose this head is, so I'm not going to put on the alternate head. I'll just show you real quick. The downside right there looks like we had some paint rub, I'm assuming, from the inside of the hood, but nothing too, remarkable about this head sculpt. It's an otherwise smooth Spider-Man style head, and you just get some pink around the eyes. But like I said, mine had a pretty rough go at it there. So that is it for that head sculpt. Now looking down at the rest of the body though, again, this is going to be stuff that we've seen before. So the body sculpt itself is nothing new, but we do get much brighter pink here on the inside of the arms, and then even on that hood that I showed earlier. And then going down, decently sculpted. Again, not a new female body mold. We've seen this female body mold before. And then we get down to where we do have some new stuff where you can see these straps are actually sculpted in, as well as the shoes being sculpted in. You can actually see that as well. So very cool that they did at least update the body a little bit, although not a ton. The line work came out pretty good on most parts, so no real issues there. Now looking at the articulation, so I already mentioned that I feel like I made my head joint a little loose there, so that is a bummer. I might try to see what I can do about that. But otherwise, the head can turn all the way around, can look down quite a ways and up quite a ways, but you do get a pretty nasty gap there. Bear in mind that when you do have the hood on for the masked version, you're not going to get that same range looking up. As a matter of fact, it only looked up maybe just a little bit because that hood was starting to hit the back of the figure. You have arms that can come up very far. You got full rotation. You do have only these single jointed elbows, but you do have rotation at the elbows. All the hands do have rotation and hinge. Your diaphragm joint is not great, so it rotates fine. You get a little bit of side to side. It can go back quite a ways, but I cannot get it to crunch forward at all. So you don't get any forward crunching with that, which is a big disappointment for an acrobatic character like any kind of the Spider-Man or Ghost Spider characters here. Legs kick forward pretty far, back not too shabby, upper thigh cut, double jointed knees. Thankfully, I didn't have to heat those up. They were good. Do have a calf joint there or boot rotation. Then you do have a hinge and ankle pivot. And just getting up close real fast here with SpiderHam, we can see a pretty decent sculpt, and again, matching the style of the Into the Spider-Verse movie. But we're going to have the sculpted web lines there. You can see the eyes were painted pretty well. A little bit of a miss there, not too bad. But we're continuing on with the sculpted web lines that we've seen with like Miles and the Peter figure. And then going down on the body, no articulation at all on the body. It is going to be just him with his hands on his hips. You get a little curly tail there. Decently sculpted, actually, though. Still looks really good. You know, you get the giant head and the small body. And he does actually have a hinge, though, or rather a ball joint. So you can move the head around some. So you can have him, like, looking up and things like that. So you do at least get a little bit of use out of him. And that is going to do it for this review, everyone. And overall, it's a very cool figure and certainly worth the inclusion in the Spider-Verse lineup. I just wish it brought something more to the table that we haven't seen yet. Really, the biggest thing, of course, is the updated Gwen head sculpt, but we do really only get just the new legs, the bottom portion of the legs as far as new sculpted pieces. Otherwise, it is the same figure that we've seen before, and that is a bit disappointing, especially that ab crunch, or lack thereof. The SpiderHam is a cool inclusion, though, just to get that big-headed little body stylized version of SpiderHam compared to the version that we have, which I guess you would say that's the comic book version of SpiderHam. So that is a cool inclusion in there to kind of round out the collection. But overall, like I said, cool figure. It just seems like the head sculpt and the legs, yeah, it doesn't really make it worth a full $20. But I could be wrong for some people. But as I said, that is it for this review. If you like it, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more content just like this, and as always, thanks for watching my videos, and have a great day.